what is one piece of advice for advertisers looking to bring some of this contextual power to the big game? And what about publishers trying to turn their sacred IP into a commercial optimized opportunity?
Okay, I'm going to try to keep this brief, but I do have a lot of advice. So here we go.
I'm all ears.
All right. Relevancy, authenticity, brand values, all of those things together really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to force fit your brand into a particular event or a particular cultural moment or series just because it's trending.
Yes.
If you can't easily find a connection and it doesn't really make sense to you or to your brand, it definitely is not going to make sense to the viewer. Viewers today are incredibly savvy. They can sniff out an inauthentic partnership pretty much immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So as part of our intake process at WBD, we really like to work with our partners in a consultative way to help brands to find the right IP match, right? So we'll dig into their brand ethos, their origins, their evolution to ensure that we find that connection. And then the brands that actually do need help telling that story, we also have a brand studio called Courageous that can do that for them. But once we identify the right fit, it's about ensuring that what we do for the brand shows up in an additive way to the fan experience and not an obtrusive way. So as it relates to Puppy Bowl, we already talked about the fact that it's all about, pet adoption. And for brands to really unlock the power of context for Puppy Bowl, they too first need to be aligned to the brand values and support animal welfare and shelter pet adoption. And then from there, it's about how that brand can enhance the story, like the Wisdom Panel example that we talked about, or the Bissell Pet Foundation example. And I'll tell you what, it's not just endemic brands. Non-endemics can get in on the action too. Like an example might be that a beauty brand, that is anti-animal testing for their products could do glow-ups for shelter puppies, kittens, birds, pigs, whatever, to get them more adopted with new photo shoots of better pictures. You could do a dating app for people and their pets, that they could do some sort of like create and match me with my perfect pet quiz, which could be really fun. So brands do not need a long history. We can figure it out with them. There's so many different ways to participate. And then the last thing that I would say about advice for brands is that, listen, for something like Puppy Bowl that has a brand values, underscoring the entire thing, this is not a one and done. You can't just drop in and then leave, right? This should be something that you commit to, that has continuity, and that is how you're going to truly unlock the power of contextual. As it relates to publishers, what I can also say is I sit on the commercial side. So when I look at IP, it's all monetizable,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm a consumer. And as a consumer, I'm hyper aware of how a brand shows up. So I really can only answer the publisher side from those two lenses.
Yeah.
But as a consumer, I never, ever want to be in the way of somebody else's enjoyment of IP, right? Especially if it's a beloved IP like Puppy Bowl, because I think, we can all recall those moments, those really cringy moments where you're like, why? What? No, ew, the logo zoom.
Somebody thought the entire thing in a mirror, or like, all right, we're good, and never thought of anyone else. Yeah,
not good. So, but then there are also those really great moments where you feel like the brand was written into the storyline in such an authentic way, and you can't even tell whether the brand actually paid for it or if the writer or the character just organically, loves that brand that gets featured. So to publishers, I would advise focus on the story, focus on the fandom, be open to what advertisers can do and to bring to the table to create a more additive experience. And then to my compatriots, the commercial side, the sellers, have some restraint. People focus on the story.
Please and thank you.
And the fan, just the creatives. Make sure that you are the right fit. Sometimes less is more. So when both of these sides pay attention and they stick to those rules, that's when the magic can happen.